The fall of Adam and Eve. Jesus Christ reveals through Jakob Lorber. The household of God. History of the primal creation of spirits and matter. The first patriarch from Adam to Abraham. Volume 1, Chapter 8. Thus spoke the Lord to me, Jakob Lorber, and within me for everyone, and that is true, faithful, and certain. Thereupon eternal love covered its countenance, and withdrew for a certain time, in accordance with the number of the order. It was blind out of the depth of its mercy, and would not, and could not, know what the newly created would do for the trial of their freedom during the short time on earth, in the judgment of the Divinity, and through the love of mercy. The place that was given to them as a dwelling was a valley and a garden, upon the firm land of the earth, and it was called Paradise. This was the land that later abounded with milk and honey, and was the place which, in the great time of times, when eternal love performed the greatest of its acts, was called, and will forever be called, Bethlehem. This was the spot where the eternal Word, in the flesh, saw for the first time the light of its grace shine upon the drop of mercy from the distant sun, the moon, and all the stars. And behold, their desire kept growing in the judgment of the Divinity, as it tested them in its wrath. There stood a tree in the garden, bearing the most beautiful apples, and Eve felt a great desire for them, and said to Adam, "Look, Adam, I feel a great desire for this fruit. If you want it, I shall pick one and taste it, and then hand it to you as a first gift from my hand." Adam was silent, pondering the words of Eve. An inner voice, a holy voice, as it came from the Divinity within him, spoke to him. "If you eat from the fruit of this tree, you shall die." This frightened Adam so much that he was unable to answer his beloved Eve. Eve's desire rose within her, drew her beneath the tree, and made her pick an apple from it. Adam now felt that Eve had become disloyal to his heart. He was saddened, and he said, "Eve, Eve, what are you doing? The Lord of might, power, and life has not yet blessed us. You are holding the fruit of death in your hand. Throw it away, so that we may not die in our nakedness before the Lord of justice." And behold, the earnestness of Adam frightened Eve in her desire, and she let the fruit of death drop to the ground. She was freed from her desire, and Adam was very pleased at being liberated from the deadly snares of Eve's desire. But behold, the desire Eve had banished from her heart was now lying on the ground, and through the might of the condemning wrath of the Divinity, formed into the shape of a great serpent. It took the fruit of death into its jaws, crept up the tree, twisted around it, around all its branches and twigs, from the root to the very top, continuously staring at Eve. Eve noticed and gazed at the serpent, and through her, Adam became aware of it as well, but he did not see the serpent yet. And behold, Eve approached the serpent and gazed with great delight at its seductive movements around the tree and the opalescent colors of its cold, scaly skin. The serpent, however, placed the apple into the lap of the now sitting Eve, lifted its head, and spoke to her as follows. Eve, behold the daughter you have cast out, winding around the tree of your desire. Do not reject the small gift I have put into your lap, but enjoy the fruit of your love without fear. Not only will you not die, but you will be filled with the knowledge of all life about God, whom you fear, even though he is weaker than you. And lo, the tongue of the serpent split into two and grew more pointed than an arrow. The serpent bent its head towards Eve's breast, as though it would kiss it in the manner of a child, but it sank its two venomous fangs into the breasts of Eve, and Eve recognized herself in the serpent. Now Adam became aware as well of what was transpiring beneath the tree, and he was delighted with the second Eve, not realizing that it was merely a serpent. Behold, he too was ignited in his desire, and, lusting for the second Eve, took the fruit from the lap of Eve, became disloyal to his love, and enjoyed the forbidden fruit from the body of Eve. Within this enjoyment, he recognized himself as the first who was lost, by the great conceit of his blind self-love in the kingdom of light of eternal love, and that he had fallen into the sea of wrath of the forever inexorably slaying Divinity. And now, behold, as he recognized himself thus, as did the deluded Eve through him, great remorse rose from the bottom of his heart, and Eve was ashamed when she grew aware of her and Adam's nakedness, and in her great dismay she covered her nakedness with leaves from a fig tree. Adam too stretched out his hands for the leaves to cover his nakedness, hid himself in a cave, and shed tears of immense grief. And Eve hid herself behind a thorn bush and grieved bitterly over her seductive guilt.